This is Arissa, and this is Travis. The issue we will be discussing is child abuse. Child abuse is something that happens every day. The first thing I would like to start with is a poem. I would like the whole class to just close their eyes and just imagine this happening to you. My name is Misty. I am but 3. My eyes are swollen. I cannot see. I must be stupid. I must be bad. What else could have made my dad so mad? I wish I was better. I wish I wasn't ugly. Then maybe my mama would love to hug me. I can't speak at all. I can't do it wrong, or else I will be locked up all day long. When I wake up, I'm all alone. The house is dark. My folks aren't home. When my mommy does come, I try and be nice. So maybe I just won't get one whipping tonight. Don't make a sound. I just heard a car. My daddy is back from Charlie's bar. I heard him curse my name. He called. I pressed myself against the wall. I try and hide from his evil eyes. I'm so afraid, now I'm starting to cry. He finds me weeping. He shouts ugly words. He says it's my fault that he suffers at work. He slaps me and he hits me and yells at me more. I finally get free and I run for the door. He already locked it. I started to bow. He takes me and throws me against a hard wall. I fall to the floor with my bones nearly broken, and my daddy continues with bad words spoken. I'm sorry, I scream, but now it's much too late. His face has twisted into an unimaginable state. The hurt and the pain again and again. Oh, please, God, have mercy. Oh, please let it in. And he finally stops and heads for the door. My name is Misty, and I am but 3. Today, my daddy has murdered me. This is an issue that happens to so many kids. At least 5 or more a day, actually, which is a statistic that we'll later go into. I produced this board for everybody to see. As you can see, the logo, the blue ribbons, are a symbol of child abuse. On the board, I also have stories. This is Deborah Lupton, and this is David Pelzer. Sorry. The first story is Deborah Lupton. Deborah was abused by a schizophrenic mother, along with her 2 younger sisters, Danielle and Doreen. Her mother believed her daughters were the devil's daughters, actually. Every name that I stated, Deborah, Doreen, and Danielle, are these, which stand for the devil. Some examples of what she did to them were putting their cribs into closets. She also made them eat cow manure and dog food. I think the worst thing that actually happened to them was when they were children and they would use the bathroom on themselves. Her mother would actually get very upset about it and make them all stand up and make them eat the feces that was in their panties. Deborah had also 2 brothers. Her 2 brothers weren't abused at all because she loved sons. Her mother feared that her daughters would actually have sex with her husband. That's the reason why she hated them so much. Deborah later on actually went to be a psychiatrist, and she studied people that were schizophrenic. She tried to contact her mother later on, but her mother, the first thing and the only thing her mother said to her were, you are the devil's daughter, and I don't want you anymore. And this is David Pelzer. He was another case. This was actually the worst case ever recorded, but I'm sure y'all know there are cases that were worse than this. This is the 3rd case that was worse that was ever recorded. This is David Pelzer. He was the 3rd of 4 kids. He was abused badly, just like Deborah. Some of the examples were that he went through was he basically could only eat the leftover slop that his brothers and his mother ate. Another thing that was, she wouldn't let him wash at all. Like, he had to go to school with nothing, no soap, nothing. So he got picked on a lot, which caused depression and caused him not to do so good in school. He also, I think another worst thing that happened to him was one day they went on a camping trip and his younger brother actually used the bathroom on himself. And again, this happens every day. He used the bathroom on himself, and his mother got upset because David actually didn't change the pamper fast enough. So the feces that was in the pamper, she put it in his face and squished it all in his face, like he was nothing and was a dog. David later on went to tell about the story in a book called A Child Called It. It's called that because of the fact that later on in life, as days went on, she just called him It and forgot his name, and he basically misguided himself. The third story will have to be Jeannie, which is a famous story that happened like probably 30 or 40 years ago. This is Jeannie. As you can tell, her legs are disformed, like she's in a stretching motion like this, like she could barely walk, which she called the bunny hop. Her dad abused her. Her dad wasn't diagnosed with anything. He would strap her to the potty chair and make her sit there for 13 years. And if she tried to escape, he would put chicken wire across so she wouldn't move. Her mother and her brother were never abused, but if they said anything, they would get in trouble about it also. So finally, they let her go away. They ran away from him, and police later arrested him for that. All these are people that were abused, but they finally got away from their abuser. So child abuse isn't. There are ways to prevent that, which we'll go into.
There are 4 types of child abuse. Number 1, neglect. As you can see on the chart, there's 78.3% of children that get neglected. When I say neglect, I mean leaving your child in the car, not feeding your child. Those are examples. Another type of child abuse is physical abuse. As you can see, there's 10.8% of children that have physical abuse. Physical abuse, I mean hitting the child, throwing things at the child, anything that hurts the children's skin. The next type of child abuse is sexual. Sexual, there is 7.6% of children that have sexual abuse. That means their fathers, the kids, moms, boyfriends, sleeping with the children, anything that's sexual child abuse. The next type is medical abuse. That means when your child is not getting the proper medical care that they need. Child abuse in America. There are, starting at 1998, there was 3.13 number of children deaths per day due to child abuse and neglect. As you can see, after 2010, over 5 kids die a day due to child abuse and neglect, which is a high number. And in America, 3.3 million children are reported with child abuse, and that could be multiple cases with 2 children or more. And I found all this information from childhelp.org. Georgia child abuse statistics. Georgia had 39,835 total referrals for child abuse and neglect in 2009. When I say total referrals, I mean they reported in their schools or someone called in. But as far as investigation, only 28,095 were referred for investigation. Also in 2009, 15,341 children were sustained or indicated as abused or neglected in Georgia. Of those children, 69% were neglected, 13% were physically abused, and 5% were sexually abused. That's kind of a high number in Georgia. In 2009, 60 children died as a result of abuse and neglect.
Talk to you about the consequences of child abuse. Physical consequences of shaken baby syndrome can cause bleeding in the eyes, brain damage, cord, neck, rib, and bone fractures, can have the lasting effects. You've got impaired brain development. Alterations in the brain maturation appears over time, consequences of the cognitive language and the academic abilities. You have poor physical health overall. In the long run, children that have been abused during childhood have a more likelihood of suffering allergies, arthritis, asthma, bronchitis, high blood pressure, and ulcers. With the psychological consequences, they have poor mental and emotional health altogether. So 8% of the children met a diagnostic criteria for at least one psychiatric order by the age of 21. Cognitive difficulties, the measures of cognitive capacity, language development, harder problems later in school with developing the academics. And you had social difficulties. Children that were abused are more likely to have harder time socializing in groups. They have antisocial traits, borderline personality disorders, behavior, low self-esteem, depression, and relationship difficulties. The behavioral consequences. Difficulties during adolescence. They said 25% more likely to experience problems such as delinquency, teen pregnancy, low academic achievement, drug use, and mental health problems. Alcohol and other drug use. It says as many as 66% of the people that are in treatment today report being abused as a child. And abusive behavior. 30% of those abused or neglected will later on be either abuseful or neglectful of their own children. Some stats that child abuse and criminal behavior. Now, not every child that goes through abuse of any time ends up going to prison, and not everybody in prison has been abused. But some of the stats right there. For males, 14% of all men in prison report being abused as children. For women, that gets a little bit higher. 36% of all women in prison are abused as children. Children who experience child abuse and neglect, 59% more likely to be arrested as a juvenile, 28% more likely to be arrested as an adult. 30% more likely to commit a violent crime sometime in their life.
Ways to help prevent child abuse. Help a friend, neighbor, or relative. It can be stressful being a parent, especially when you have babies, they're crying, you have to take them to school and everything. So help a friend or a neighbor or relative. Promote programs in school. Start up your own child abuse prevention thing. We don't have one at this school, but anyone can start it. Volunteer at your local child abuse prevention program. Volunteering is important because it could be your child, you never know. Report child abuse that you witness. If you see someone hitting their child in the store, report it. You never know. Abuse is abuse. Stop. Do not hit the child. I have 12 ways to prevent hitting the child. Take a deep breath. Then remember, you are an adult. Close your eyes and imagine you're about to hear what your child is hearing. You know those little cuss words can hurt. Press your lips together and begin to count to 10 like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and etc. Better get count to 20. It'll be better. Put your child in a timeout chair. A minute for each child. Everyone knows about the timeout chair, don't it? Not the paddle. Or better yet, put yourself in a timeout chair. Think about what are you angry about. Is it you or is it the child? Phone a friend. A 5-minute conversation with a friend can sometimes help. That's what friends are for. If someone can watch your child, also go out for a walk. A run is sometimes nice. Anything that is physical is nice. Take a hot bath or splash cold water on your face. Splashing cold water will wake you up. Hug a pillow. Hugging a pillow is your best friend sometimes. It's just like a human being. Turn on some music. Maybe even sing a little la 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 can help. Pick up a pencil and write down as many helpful words as you can. Save the list. Sometimes writing down your feelings and thoughts helps a lot. Next, call for prevention information. 1-800-CHILDREN. They'll pick up 24 hours a day. Next, we have a video.
Say the word.
This is how we help. We educate our family and friends about the issue. We posted information about child abuse on Facebook. And we donated money to the organization, Prevent Child Abuse. It's actually preventchildabuse.org is the website for that right there. This is how you can help. You can learn more about child abuse, help educate yourself about the problems. You can donate money to Prevent Child Abuse, which says childabuse.org. You can start your own. In Valdosta, there's actually no program for victims of child abuse at the moment. So start your own program, your own advocacy. And you can use Good Search. As far as donate, most of us are college students. Most of us don't have the money to be able to donate at will. But what if I told you that there was a way that you can donate money by doing the same thing that you do just about every single day? How many people use a search engine in here, such as Bing, Yahoo? What if I told you by using that right there that you could donate money to a charity with just clicking some buttons? That is what GoodSearch.com actually is. GoodSearch.com is a website. It's actually a search engine. It's powered by Yahoo. And how these search engines make their money and revenues is every time that you click on a link or every time you buy something from one of these groups or from, it's all the stores on here, it's Macy's, Amazon, anything like that, they actually donate proceeds. It's 1 cent that's donated for every time you click on a link. So when you do a search that comes up, you're looking for something to buy, and that first link that comes up at the top, if you click that, that's how Yahoo makes its money. And every time you do that, they'll donate 1 cent to preventchildabuse.org. So it's a way that everybody in here can help out with doing just something that they do every single day. It takes 5 minutes to set up an account. You just make it as your home page if you want, and every time you do a search, it's just like Yahoo or anything else. Costs you absolutely nothing but about 5 minutes of your time, and you can help out needy children everywhere. And thank you very much.